Did you see any of the footage from the scrimmage yesterday?
No footage, just saw the final score. That's all I needed to see.
What's kind of just been the focus these last couple of days as you guys get ready for the opener?
Just really locking in on prep, locking in our tendencies, what we need to do better, what we can get good at, what we can continue to do this past preseason training camp that we've been doing a wonderful job on. So just making sure we clean up things that we need to clean up and getting ready for tomorrow.
How's it been just adjusting to this offense in general, coming from where you played the last couple of years to here?
It's a different adjustment, a lot of movement, a lot of not standing still, a lot of running. So it's great when you have vets and teammates that are that have been in the system for many years. I mean, and there's little tweaks here and there, but at the same time, they've been here long enough. The core have been here long enough to understand how to play off one another and asking them questions to make my job a lot easier out there on the floor. So it's been good.
And then the adjustment, just going and playing with somebody like Nikola Jokic, where you got to be ready at all times. What's that been like?
It's been great. I mean, I played with a guy kind of similar. He's a little bit shorter in Dallas, but those type of wicked passes, making sure you're ready at any given moment, especially in those corners and those wings. You never know when he's going to fire the ball to you. So you just got to be on your P's and Q's and be attentive at all times.
The West is going to be highly competitive. We saw it on opening night last night. Yeah. What are your thoughts just about the West and how competitive it's going to be? And you guys have to hit the ground running because there's just no room for error.
I think we just got to focus on ourselves, do what we do best, go out there locking on defense and offensive tendencies and things that Coach wants us to emphasize on while we're out there in the game. So I think as long as we take care of what we need to take care of, we'll be fine.
You've been in this league a long time. You've been on some good teams. Does anything stand out about this team to you?
Got a lot of guys that can hoop, a lot of guys that can put the ball in the basket, but also they really take pride, on that other end of the floor in defense and communication and talking, and you can see it in the preseason and training camp, especially in up tomorrow. So we'll see how that side goes, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we got guys that can put that ball in the basket. So 1 through 10, 1 through 12, so. It's going to be fun.
How does the start of this season feel different for you personally than your previous season?
I don't think there's no difference at all. I mean, I've been on teams that went to the finals before, went to teams that went to the Western Conference Finals before. Coming into the new season, got a target on your back, you're the hunted, everybody's going to get your best shot. You just got to go out there and be ready. There is no easy games in this league from ourselves all the way to the last team. So you're going to get your best shot every single night.
You still get excited?
Oh, very excited. Very excited. I get very excited. I mean, my year 13, I mean, it's exciting to be able to play this long, but also coming into the season with a group that has high expectations. I love that. All right, thank you guys.
What are some of the feelings that you have leading up to it being a real basketball game? That's nice.
They all feel real, even the preseason ones, but these ones actually count to the standings. It's fun. 82 of them ahead of us, but this first one, there's always a lot of adrenaline, a lot of excitement, and kind of trying to set the tone for the season.
Do you have any expectations?
Compete.
Yeah.
Compete.
What were your thoughts watching the game last night?
It's exciting. The first game was a really good game. It's just interesting to see how the Rockets came out with their personnel, and as the defending champs in the Thunder, and just both teams had to battle through some adversity, kept it close, made plays, so it's good basketball.
Mentally, what does it take to allow yourself to be patient with this process as a team and individually?
I think at the heart of it is gratitude for the situations, for being able to play this game, and from that kind of puts it all in perspective, and just ride the wave, try to make progress every day, and put your best foot forward and let the rest take care of itself.
Being in the podcast world, the content world, a tiny bit. Do you
Yeah.
care at all about sort of the NBC of it all, the broadcast partnerships? Do you pay attention to sort of like the way
Barely, not any more than anybody else. I mean, I like the jingles, a little music with it, and the subtle differences in the broadcast. But I'm not nitpicking it by any means.
DA has talked a lot about just how much things can change on a game-to-game basis, whether it's what defenses you're using or rotations, or even rules for guys. So as a player, what is it when you guys don't have a ton of practice time? What does it take to be successful when things can change so on a game-to-game basis?
I think the reason why it can change on a game-to-game basis is because we have people that are capable. And when we see something that we want to take advantage of, or a hot hand that we want to, put into use a little bit more, I think we have the coaching staff knowledge and the player knowledge to make those things work. So I think that's more of a testament of that than kind of keeping us off guard.
What stands out to you about this Nuggets team? You've been on a few teams before.
Experience, understanding, a lot about the game and a lot about how to win at this level, and a lot about just spacing, offensive concepts, defensive concepts. Everybody's IQ is pretty advanced, and that's really, really great as a teammate and as a new guy here.
Have you had like a Jokic moment yet where he's done something you're just like, oh?
I mean, it's just he keeps the ball above his head, like, better than anybody. The ball can be up here and it can go into the basket, it can get sprayed out, and he doesn't really lose it in those situations. So when he's kind of coming down the lane with the head of steam, it's kind of unpredictable from a defensive standpoint. It's like, a real weapon of his.
Other than shooting and getting to the spots to initiate the offense, what do you think is the next most important thing for you to do on the offensive end?
I'd say attacking closeouts and making proper reads in those situations, and being able to kind of put pressure on the rim in that way.
How would you describe the communication of this team in game? How are you guys talking? How are you guys reading? How are you guys?
It's good. It's not a finished product by any means. I hope we get a lot better, but it's good, and it's meaningful talk, purposeful talk, and but I expect it to get better.
What about even in timeouts or game breaks, that sort of thing?
It's pretty. I like to ask guys, say, for example, Tim, what do you see so far? Tim goes in there and gets threes up and runs around and does his thing. So I'll ask him, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And so, all those conversations, can be held at a high level because the guys we have, vet guys that have been around, and then obviously, sometimes in those timeouts, it's a little bit of a review of what we've done that's been successful and what we can do better. And it's pretty simple, straightforward from that standpoint.
What does your scouting look like when you're getting ready for a game? What's your routine, or what kind of things are you looking for? How do you watch film?
I'll watch us and see where I can improve on. See, what opportunities I've missed or could have, redone thinking-wise, and put that into the mental preparation for the next game. And then, you play a team like Golden State, just understanding how they move without the ball, how they use guys like Curry and Draymond, and it's unconventional to the rest of the NBA, obviously. And you watch, yesterday's game, for example, you see Jimmy, how he got to the line so efficiently and how he was able to kind of operate that mid-post area like he always does. But those are the things that you have to be on a high awareness of when you're playing against them, or they'll make you pay for it. And then, just kind of seeing the spirit they played with and how they shared the ball and being prepared for that.
You mentioned on a podcast, I think it was with Duncan Robinson,
yeah.
Correct me if I'm paraphrasing this wrong, but you look at your shots, you don't look at the percentages as much, right? If I believe I have that correct.
Yeah.
When did you start doing it?
When you start missing, you don't know why. Probably a long time ago, probably somewhere in college. Definitely in the league for sure. I always say when you get to the league, you don't have as much practice time in between games. In college, you got live practice 2 or 3 times in between each game. So if you're missing, you got a chance to kind of feel it out, get it right. In the league, you just got to flow into the next one. And those makes and misses can get tricky. It can make you feel like you're on top of the world. It can make you feel like you're completely the opposite. So understanding the quality of the shots and what makes it go in. I think I've had some coaches along the way that have, it's easy to obsess, right? And it's something that's a positive in shooting a lot of the times. But obsess over the right things, obsess over the process, not the result. And that's what a couple coaches that I've had along the way have instilled in me. And that's where I kind of picked that up, is like, as long as the process is right, it's feet set, balance, follow through, the intent through the movement, and not just being so result driven is kind of the recipe for withstanding the ups and downs of shooting across an 82-game season.
Beyond the wins and losses, what would you say is the most important thing to achieve together as a team, especially in the early portions of the season?
Chemistry. Chemistry, communication, and trust. Understanding rotation, how guys are used, when guys are used, and how we can just become a better team. An NBA season is a process, and you're not going to peak in the first 10 games, and you don't want to peak in the first 10 games. You want the thing to keep building itself, and you want to put layers on your philosophies and your concepts, and the beginning of that right now is chemistry and trust.
One more?
Zero more.
I think playing is an advantage because you get that out of the way, that first feeling, that anxiety. Whether you're at home or not, the anxiety is real because you've been waiting for it, all summer. So that being said, it's nice to be able to watch them too. But we watched them throughout the preseason. We played them 2 million times in the last how many years. So it's kind of see it both ways, I guess.
Is there anything about them that's unique to this season as opposed to what they've been in previous years?
I think just more comfortable with Jimmy. He came in so late last year. We never really got to see the full thing, what it could be, because of the injuries in the playoffs. So I think it's just the comfortability with him. And then, Kuminga getting his contract settled, I think that helps him. He can just kind of settle into his role. So I hate to speak for another team. I don't know what they feel, but that's what I see.
How have you seen Golden State's system evolve over the years?
I mean, it's pretty much the same. As opposed to, in the past, those teams that were basically unbeatable, they have a strong side split game, but they used to have a weak side split going on at the same time with Durant or Thompson. A little bit different now on the weak side, more of a cutting team after Steph's initial actions. But no, Steve's always done an incredible job. And I actually think the offense has kind of stayed the same. Their defense is very underrated. They're handsy. Like you saw it last night. I think they had like 27 personal fouls, but they also forced a ton of turnovers. So, in that respect, I think you see a different kind of team than maybe the score-happy Durant, Thompson, Curry years.
Do you prefer that? Maybe prefer isn't the right word, but just a team that plays very concrete. Do you think that's a good test for your guys in knowing what they're going to do and kind of measuring up to that? Or is there you kind of want to have an unknown factor to it?
They're unique like us because they play so much split game. I think teams like Sacramento are unique because Sabonis allows them to have a system that's, not like other teams that play a lot of just spread pick and roll. Yeah, it's a great challenge for us. We've guarded them in a lot of different ways over the years, with switching, not switching, maintaining matchups. And a lot of times I think when we've guarded them well, they end up being a pick and roll team with Steph and Draymond. So yeah, it's a great challenge on so many different levels. You're talking about a team that can change their style of play on the fly within a game multiple times. So we know what the challenge is.
I asked him what stood out about the Nuggets to him, and he said, got a lot of guys who can hoop and a lot of guys who can put the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
You concur?
I do, as long as the right guy's shooting it, which is the open guy. If we move the ball correctly, our assist numbers should be at a very high level. That's how we've always played, and I'd like to be, one of the top teams in passes. If we can do that, I think our offense will come, and I expect them to be growing pains out here. We scrimmaged, I guess, 5-6 times. We kind of played 5 preseason games, so everybody's got to be patient and let the thing happen. But if it happens correctly, we'll be really hard to guard.
Dave, you talked about fluidity in terms of one night Nikola might play the entire first quarter, one night he might get about 9-minute ball, maybe Jonas and Joker playing together on a night-to-night basis. So what is it going to with so many things kind of operating on a game-to-game basis? What does it require from you and the players to make that successful when you don't have a ton of practice time?
Yeah, I think you have to be unselfish, the roster in general, and then I have to be, aware of how teams rotate their players, not the first rotation, but the second and third one behind it, because that allows me to make sense of why I'd play 2 bigs together, or why I would play Peyton at the 5 or Spencer at the 5 or Jalen Pickett instead of, whoever. So you have to you have to respect what other people are doing. Of course, you want to control your own situation, but there's going to be nights we feel like we have an advantage, cam to the 4, whatever it may be. So, it'll be based around rotations that we see. That was one advantage with the Golden State playing last night. We got to see how they rotated Steph throughout the game, different Jimmy throughout, different guys throughout the game. And again, they could change, and Horford could be guarding Nikola, and that changes their whole rotation. So as you go through the season, you're more aware of what people are trying to do because they'll stay consistent with what the coaching staff sees. But you can react to that and try to find advantages within it.
How do you manage the first game differently?
I think you got to calm them down. Like I said, the anxiety is a good energy. They're excited to play. Today was a really light practice, but you could see how attentive they were because they know what's coming tomorrow night and what the environment's going to be like. But you got to understand this is one of 82, so it means the same as Saturday and Monday and Wednesday. So you have to understand that, and like I said, don't get impatient. If we come out and play great. If we don't, just stay with the process of what we're trying to do.
We saw a lot of zone last night on opening night. Why do you think we're seeing so much zone? What is the advantage for that, or the reason for it?
It's just easier to stay out of these mismatched one-on-one situations. I mean, it just puts your best defenders where you want them. It can be ugly sometimes when teams move the ball and it pops and there's a lob dunk or there's a wide open 3 with your pre-rotating. But it allows you to kind of set yourself, and just like teams that have great drop pick and roll defenders, I think it allows you to say, we're going to give up these specific things and we'll live with it. And it's much easier to do that, not to mention teams playing a little bit bigger. You don't want 2 guys in coverage all the time. That puts you in rotations throughout the game. So I think zone will be something more and more people will use. And other times it's just because you can't guard somebody, and you're just like, we might as well just try this and see what happens.
We got a little taste of how competitive the West is going to be last night.
Yeah.
How do you balance that patience with letting it happen with also hitting the ground running, because it's going to be competitive?
Yeah, no, I think there's no excuses. There's no work your way into it in the sense of wins and losses. I do think everybody, you saw it last night, there were these kind of ebbs and flows in those games where it looked really good and then really bad for teams. But no, the West is, you got to, again, so everybody has to play OKC 4 times. They got to play us 4 times for the majority of the teams out there. So you have to know that, and the schedule will take care of itself. So just worry about night by night, wins and losses, just trying to keep yourself in it.
How much has their offense and some of their split game stuff influenced you over the years as a coach?
They do a lot of stuff that people used to do in the 90s. I mean, it's a lot of, Phil Jackson kind of stuff, high split, 2-guard fronts, throwing the ball into the post, not to score, but to split off it, Chicago cuts, all that kind of stuff. I hate to say this, but my father, he did a good job with the split stuff too. So he's more of an influence than they are. But, they're unique. We're more off the elbows. They're more off the block. But what they do is, it's just good basketball. It's fun to watch.
One more?
Yeah, thanks, guys.